Hello guys and welcome, another short video about the Caddx Turtlet. I installed it right away on this little Diaton GT90, a very nice little micro quad. If you remember the video a few months ago, I converted this to the smallest HD capable drone I had. I did this when the first Runcam Split came out. Back then it was the smallest HD cam I know, but it had a two-board design, which I used some heat shrink to protect it. On top there it's a bit exposed, so I have this little foam thingy for some protection. The new Caddx Turtlet uses a single board design, which is even less space needed, and lens module in the front here. This is the new Runcam Split Mini 2. This was the old Split Mini. The only important thing that changed, they went from a two-board design, like this had two controller boards, to only one. And why did they do this? Because the competition, like the Caddx Turtlet, if you have them side by side, they look pretty close. One thing I like on the Turtlet more than on the Runcam, the Runcam's connector here is the very small, namely this here, as opposed to the FPV cam style connectors. There is this small cable that you can solder on here. I have to figure out the pin out, or you can adjust such a cable. If we swap or turn over the boards, yeah, the other side looks pretty similar as well. The cam module of the Caddx doesn't look as sleek as the Runcams. The simple reason why I chose the Caddx for the first test is because this connector here is the standard FPV cam connector and not the smaller one. A time consideration just. And I tested two things at once. I also went with the XLite, but I still have the spring on my throttle channel, which is uncomfortable to fly. I will show you the onboard recordings in HD. I will maximize it now for you. So as we watch it together, you notice, okay, the lens can't do magic. The lens is a bit unsharp and then digitally sharpened. You see some edge enhancement, sharpness. The white dynamic overall is quite good. If we look directly in the sun, we see the sun as a disk and not washed out. And with shadows to sunlight, the changes are quite fast. Latency as well is good as well. Yeah, and that's what I meant. You look into the sun and it's just a disk, which is nice. The wide angle is wide enough. So overall, I liked the flying experience. Bear in mind that I didn't fly for some time now, and I didn't fly the little copter for a very long time. And it was also a test of the Taranis X-Lite, which I used here for the first time flying. So it was a bit of an experience. But also the Taranis made a really good job for the first flight. So I didn't crash. What more can you ask for? All in all, really a fun setup. And it's really beneficial to have an HD cam on such a small drone. You're of course within legal weight limits to fly almost anywhere. You get decent footage, you can share this footage, you can even make a little video compilation out of it. Yeah. You have to some extent you have jello. These things are prone to jello, of course, but it's okay. With those tiny props and high RPM, jello isn't that much of a problem.
On the outside looking in,
I just want to remember you guys of my nice little Excel sheet. There's of course a link in the description. It's always the same link to the same latency Excel sheet that I maintain. I have the date of my measurement, the cam, and I have two different measurement methods in there. I have the direct measurement, which is the most accurate, where I take the video out cable of my screen, and with newer cams this works really fine. Older cams only change from light to black each frame, so you have a 20 millisecond accuracy, and the newer cams, they change it within a frame. And for those who change it within the frame, I can measure it with the direct method. For the Caddx Turtlet, I have the photodiode test, which is the second test. And if you're curious about my latency tests, I link a few latency test videos, and I've written an article about it. It can get boring, so check out this sheet. I sometimes write the latency measurements in there days or weeks before the video goes online, so just bookmark this latency sheet. Don't get anything if you view it. It's just a little service for you guys. So the Caddx Turtlet is 22 milliseconds, which is pretty common latency for such HD cams, and it's okay. It means you might lose one PAL frame, because a PAL frame is 20 milliseconds. That's totally fine for this kind of flying. It's not the fastest, it's not a racer cam, of course, but it's a good compromise. So you can definitely fly around proximity style with losing one frame. The other thing, as I said, that I've tested was the Taranis X-Lite. It's really a fun little radio, and it's definitely the radio I had in mind when I got this little drone, because it makes no sense to have such a tiny drone and then have to use a big fat Taranis or something else. These two things together fit so nice in a backpack or even in a lady's handbag. So it's really convenient form factor. The little switches here don't break off easily because they are small. The gimbals are nice. If you're a thumber like me, you totally get away with it. As a pincher, I'm not so sure. Kabab did a good review of this thing and explaining his thoughts about ergonomics and design. He's totally the ergonomics and design guy. Check out his video. I'm not too sure about being able to pinch around with it, but I'm not a pincher, so I can tell you. As a thumber, it's okay. Yesterday I had it on stock settings, which was too short and with the spring on the throttle, and spring on throttle is not nice. So today I did adjust it a bit, made the sticks as long as possible. And also they did something really clever there. I don't know if any other radio makes it the same way. You have screws on the back here that enable or disable the spring. So you don't even have to open this radio to disable the throttle spring. You just have a little pull on to the feather. Yeah, you see? Now the spring is disabled. But it's like it has no resistance at all. And that's what the second screw is for. Adjusting the tension or the resistance. Oh, it's about where I want it. Yeah, so you should adjust the tension as well. So that's one of the nicest features I've seen. Then you have this 5-way joystick here and a few buttons. The trims. The trims are to be switched with another button here, but you can read stuff like this in the manual. So this is for the trims. It's not the Game Boy controller. With this, I really liked this little joystick here. Long pressing it to the right goes into the normal menu. This is the back button. Long pressing to the left goes into the radios menu. And the software and everything is just as on the, it's OpenTX, so it's just on like on the big Taranis, and I felt very comfortable and at home with using the bigger Taranis for 4 years now. So it's really a nice and convenient little radio.
Horizon mode.
I assigned some voice files to the switches.
Engines armed. Engine off.
My standard ones, which are really helpful. Yeah, you can set timers. So it's really a full-size radio in terms of features and functions. You have sliders up there, sliders with no middle notch. You have 2 3-position switches up there and 2 2-position ones. It uses 18500 cells, which is a bit inconvenient because they are harder to find. I know this other radio that just came out, the Nirvana, what's it called, with longer grips, and the touchscreen uses the correct ones, the 18650 cells, which would have been a better choice. I think that was just a design and size consideration from them. You can attach an external antenna here to have even more range, or just use the internal one. For me, flying around here, the internal worked good. But of course, if you want to fly a bit further with standard FRSky radio receivers, you use just a normal 2.4 GHz antenna there, or there are also some special ones. Yeah, so definitely a recommendation, and the radio I've been thinking I would like to have since like 2 or 3 years now, with the copters getting smaller and smaller each time. So this is easy to throw in my backpack and have some spontaneous FPV fun with things like this. Okay, thanks for watching this short review. I hope you liked seeing the Caddx and the Taranis as well in one video. Really struggling to keep up with all the stuff that appears on the market. Not all the stuff is that good, so I would like to make my videos more positive, but sometimes I just gotta be honest, and with honesty you don't get a lot of positive videos these days. But I hope you enjoy them anyways. Consider subscribing if you're new to this channel. Also use the bell icon to be notified of my videos. See you next time. Bye.